Hi guys, my name is Megan and today we're going to be playing Bookish This or That. Alright, so this video is kind of based off of some of like the little this or that kind of questionnaires that go around on Instagram stories. So I kind of combined a few and then I added a bunch of my own on there. So I will leave all of the questions down below if you guys want to do this tag. So we've got 3 different categories. We've got tropes, we've got book preferences, and then we've got other bookish things. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the book tropes. So the first one on here is enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. So this one I'm gonna go ahead and pick enemies to lovers just because I really like that transition from them hating each other to like maybe transitioning to friends and then falling in love. That's just a really nice trope, you know. The next one is save the bad boy or the brother's best friend. So this one is kind of a hard trope to pick. So for this one, I'm gonna go save the bad boy just because, you know, everybody likes a bad boy redemption arc. So the next one is the villain or anti-hero character or the lovable hero. So this one I think I would have to go with like the anti-hero character because everybody loves the hero of the story, but the anti-hero or like the villainous character, depending on how well it's written and whether they're more anti-hero than villain, I would go anti-hero. So this next one is the morally gray character or the pure villain. So I'm gonna go morally gray character because I feel like people's intentions aren't necessarily black and white. I'm gonna go with the morally gray character. Okay, so this next one is the love triangle or star-crossed lovers. I actually don't really like either of these tropes. So the next one is trapped in an elevator or oh no, there's only one bed. So this one, I'm gonna have to go with the oh no, there's only one bed trope. The next one is fake dating or they were roommates. I kind of like the fake dating better than I like the roommates falling in love. Next up is the office romance or a summer romance. So this one, if an office romance is done right, it's pretty good. Otherwise, I would have to go with a summer romance just because who doesn't like, you know, 2 characters falling in love in the summer and then just, you know, having it be a summer fling. Next up is the royals or billionaires. So I actually really don't like either of these tropes. But if I had to pick, I'd go royals over billionaires because if you're gonna be rich, why not be also, you know, in charge of a country? The last one in the trope section is going to be the Instalove or second chance romance. So second chance romance is not necessarily my favorite. There are some exceptions in there, but Instalove is also not something that I like super much. I think in this instance, if we're going to talk Instalove, I'd rather go second chance romance. So now we're moving into the book preferences section. So the first one on here is literary fiction or contemporary. So this one I would definitely go contemporary just because it's usually a little lighter. So the next one is Regency romance or contemporary romance. This one is a hard yes on contemporary romance. I'm not super into like the Regency era romance stuff. It's just weird. Next one is, do you like third person or first person narratives? So this one I actually like both depending on the characters that it's about. So this one I'm just gonna say both. So the next one is binge read or take your time, and this one is, I think it's talking about a series. So usually I like to take my time with reading books series, just I like to space them out and, you know, have books in between so I can digest the things that happen. So next up is standalone or series. I actually really like both. And I wish more books were standalones just because they're kind of nice to have one and done. Next up is sci-fi or fantasy. This one I think I'd have to go fantasy just because I like, you know, being in a fantastical world better than I like being, you know, in space or, you know, on a different planet. Okay, so next one is urban fantasy or high fantasy. This one I would have to go urban fantasy just because I like the mix of magic and technology together. It's just so much fun. Next up is YA or new adult. So this one is a hard one for me to pick because I really like both, but I'm actually leaning more towards like new adults. I like the kind of mix of like having these young characters figuring out their lives and, you know, like with some adult aspects mixed in there. So I kind of like the new adult better. Okay, so the next one is new adult or adult. This one I think I would have to go with the adult side just because I like having characters that are more like mature and they know what they're doing and they don't feel like it's not like a kid's or like a teenager mindset for these characters anymore. So I think I'd have to go with the adult side. Okay, so the next one is graphic novels or manga, whatever, however you pronounce it. I'm gonna have to go graphic novels because I've kind of grown out of my manga reading. There was a time where I read a ton of them, but then I kind of got out of that. But I really like graphic novels now. Next is reread or only read the book once. This one is hard just because there are a ton of books that I really like rereading, but there's also a lot of books that I would probably only ever read once. So this one, probably only read it once. Okay, next up is hardback or paperback. So I really like paperbacks, and if we're gonna get specific, I have a lot of like mass market paperbacks just because I'm not afraid to crack the spines on my books. And if you look at some of my books, they have been like pretty trashed, and I'm okay with it. I like paperbacks, I like the floppy paperbacks, I like my mass markets, so definitely paperbacks. Because hardbacks are just too hard to carry around and hold like one-handed. So next up is ebook or audiobook. Definitely for ebook on this one. I don't really like listening to audiobooks because I feel like I have to have something to do if I'm gonna listen to an audiobook or like a podcast or anything. Like I have to have something in my hands to keep me busy. So definitely an ebook. Okay, and then the last one in the book preferences section is short stories or 500-page plus books. This one, I like both for this one. Like I really couldn't pick. So now we're moving on to the last section for this, and that is other bookish things. So the first one is tab or annotate books. I actually don't do either. I don't like writing in my books, and I don't like putting tabs on them. So this one is no. Next up is bookmark or dog ear pages. So bookmark, definitely. I'm not a huge fan of dog-earing pages, but I don't mind it if somebody else does it. In like my mass market paperbacks, if you do it in my hardbacks or my trade paperbacks, no. Next up we have a movie adaptation of a book or a TV adaptation. I think I would prefer having a TV adaptation because it feels like there's more time to get things right. Music or nothing in the background. I actually like both. I usually have the TV on when I'm reading, so definitely like music is a plus for this one. Next up is tea or coffee. I'm definitely a tea person. And then next up, do you read on your couch or on your bed? So this one, I read on the couch all the time. And then the last one for this video is going to be stay up late to finish your book or finish your book early in the morning. This one I'm going to have to say finish it early in the morning just because I like to go to bed at a certain time and I read pretty much up until I go to bed. I don't really feel the need usually to stay up and read a book unless I'm like 10 pages from being done. Alright, so that was it for my bookish this or that. If you guys want to answer any of these questions, I will have them down in the description box below. Also, if you want to, let me know some of your answers in the comment section. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the notification button. And if you'd like to follow me on social media for more bookish content, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys!